All right, welcome back to the Revisionist Almanac, part of the Movie Archer Podcast Network. Love is in the air today, and we want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. I'm Andrew. I'm joined by my two wonderful teammates, Amanda and Heather, and we're here specifically to talk about Wuthering Heights, which is releasing this week, as well as giving you our top 5 film couples in history. So, before we get to our lists here in a minute, Amanda, Heather, why don't we talk about Wuthering Heights? We'll talk about Emerald Fennell, some of her past works really quickly. Are you two excited to see this new film with Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi? Amanda, how do you feel about the new Wuthering Heights?
I feel like I'm nervously excited to see it. Like, I'm just seeing it because I want to see how weird it gets. I have not read the book. I started reading it like a little bit, but I'm not a huge reader, unfortunately. But I will definitely go see it just to watch like the spectacle of it.
Do you and Nina already have like a date set for when you're going to go see it, or are you just going to wing it?
No, I haven't even floated it with her if she wants to go. I'm kind of nervous. It's one of those, I'm like, do I want to bring her? Or is this going to make her uncomfortable?
So you might be a solo moviegoer for that episode, for that
Maybe.
movie, yeah. Heather, what about you? Excited for Wuthering Heights? Are you going to go solo, take the husband? What's your plan?
Absolutely not taking the husband. I am taking my long-suffering cinema friend who sometimes has to suffer through things that she wouldn't normally see. But this one, she told me she actually had it on her list to want to go to. So we are going on the 11th. So by the time this comes out, I will have seen it. I am morbidly curious. I've read some little snippets that actually my whole prep of rereading the novel was, forget it. Mm-hmm. Just didn't need to do that at all. Which makes me more concerned because, and from what we know, that this is going to be Emerald Fennell's kind of almost treating it as how she saw the book when she was a 14-year-old. This concerns me, and it's going to be like fan fiction or something like that. So it's going to be overly romanticizing a very toxic relationship. I could go into a lot of detail. I studied the book at length in high school and wrote multiple essays on it. So yeah, I won't say too much. I'm curious. Nobody's adapted this book well. I don't even know if it's fully properly adaptable, and it's always misinterpreted in some way because this is some serious toxic shit. It's not a love story. It's not romantic. It is really nasty people. So we shall see what Emerald makes of it. No doubt she will be doing some the usual shockers in there just to get people talking.
Yeah, I
admire her for it.
Absolutely. I am also kind of in that morbid curiosity stage where I don't have a frame of reference for the novel, even though I just discovered like 10 minutes ago that my wife owns a copy, which is also not surprising. I don't think she's read it yet, though. And when I floated it to her, I was like, why don't we go see a movie? We have a sudden Valentine's Day to ourselves when this comes out. And so I was like, why don't we go do something for Valentine's Day? And she was like, you want to go see a movie, don't you? I was like, of course I do. But I said, it's going to be Wuthering Heights. And she's like, okay. And then I explained to her Emerald Fennell, and we've seen Promising Young Woman together. We've seen Saltburn together. And we had a really good experience with Saltburn theatrically, which I'll talk about in a second. I have seen the 1939 Wuthering Heights. I have almost no recollection of it. It's been a long time. I would like to see the 2011 version, which is directed by Andrea Arnold, who's a really talented director, which I haven't seen. And then even though we did a Ralph Fiennes deep dive about a month ago, I have not seen the 1992 version with Ralph and Juliette Binoche, but I feel like I'm going to need to at some point because I'm intrigued by that one as well. So I'm going to go in relatively open-minded. I do feel like, I don't know, Heather, you might be in this boat, but like with the Dune franchise, I'm a huge fan of the source material. And so I was like scrutinizing everything that they did or didn't do, even though it's almost impossible to put everything in the Dune books into the film. So I feel like this movie is probably not going to be for those who are wanting it to adhere directly to the source material. But for me, I'm okay with it because I don't have any relation.
I think it also depends on expectations. I mean, as I already said, no Wuthering Heights adaptation has really done justice to the book, to the frame story, to the framing device that they have, to the various narrators, to the multiple parts of the story. And what people don't know is that the main two characters, I mean, people who haven't read the book don't really often know that Cathy and Heathcliff, who are like these, you know, romantic couple for the ages, they're like only in like a third of the book together. So, I mean, that's not a spoiler. The book is like so old; it's like 200 years old almost. So, and so people often don't know that if they haven't read the source material, and because the films barely touch on that. They really do focus on these two. Fair enough, though. I mean, the book is very dense, but you're missing a lot of the full. Yeah, you're missing a lot of the whole Heathcliff persona if you don't have the whole book and the whole source material to go on.
Do you have a favorite?
I'm going in there going.
Do you have a favorite film adaptation that currently exists?
I don't really like any of them. Obviously, the Ralph Fiennes one is optically attractive to me. I haven't seen the Andrea Arnold one. Somebody has. You're not the first person to say that that's decent. I've heard that it is fairly good, but I don't know. It's hard because if you have like you say, if you have a really strong relationship with the source material, never going to be 100% satisfied, and nor is that always the intention of the filmmaker, right? It's an adaptation. Otherwise, as people say, you could just go and read the book, so it's to see what this person is pulling out of the source material and what this person makes of it.
And this is definitely a person who likes to stir the pot with her films. Right. I mean, she's sort of a provocative filmmaker, I think, in the best kind of way. This is her third feature film, following Promising Young Woman and then Saltburn. Amanda, have you seen both of her two previous films, and what is your relationship to those two films?
I have only seen Saltburn. I do have Promising Young Woman on DVD. I have not gotten to it yet. And I really wish I would have seen Saltburn in theaters because I loved it. Like, I get it's provocative, but I thought the whole thing was just so goofy that I didn't take it seriously at all. And so I thought it was super fun. It has some goofy like music in it, and so I liked it a lot. I'm excited to see Promising Young Woman when I get to it.
I am eager to hear what you think of that one because that's a great experience, especially for the first time. Heather, what's your relationship to Promising Young Woman, Saltburn?
I really liked Promising Young Woman. I know it's very divisive. There's people who absolutely hate it. I get why. I enjoyed it. I thought what she was trying to say was important. If it needed to go the whole way that it goes, because of course Amanda hasn't seen it, so I don't want to say too much. If it is, got to be careful what one says. Did we need to have the end that we have to get the message across? I don't know. Or is that ultimately the end that character deserved is the wrong word. Wanted. I don't know the right verb. But anyway, I think she knew that was the end that might happen, and knew that, and took that into consideration with her actions. Right. Okay. Moving on. No, I really, I enjoyed it, and the kind of the casting of certain people and certain men. Oh, and shout out to her parents, who are just delightfully cast as well. That was so fun to see that. Yeah, and Carey Mulligan I thought was fabulous, and I thought I would probably have given her the Oscar. # this is how Carey Mulligan could still win. That was a thing back in the day. It's like, this is how she is. Like, it was so funny. It was like a whole thing. It's like, no, she's not winning, guys, because she's only won whatever she won. I think it was Critics' Choice. It was like,
that was the Olivia Colman year, wasn't it?
Was it?
I can't remember if that was the year that she won.
No, it was the McDormand.
2020?
No, it was the McDormand.
Oh, Nomadland. Okay.
McDormand for Nomadland. Okay. Yeah, that was the one where everybody won something else going in.
Okay.
There was like everybody had won something apart from thingy, In Pieces of a Woman.
Kirby. Yeah.
Kirby, yes. Yeah. Vanessa Kirby. She was the only one that hadn't won one of the televised awards, but yeah, everybody else had won something else. Yeah.
Did you like Saltburn?
I thought she was great.
Did you like Saltburn, Heather?
No, I heard you. I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm trying to answer.
Conflicted thoughts about it, huh?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a laugh. The discourse was ridiculous. It I had fun with it. I watched it over Christmas when my parents were here. You know, like they did not watch it.
Okay,
Good.
I was going to ask.
But I was so curious to see it. I needed to see it like as soon as it came out. I think it came out like Christmas Day or something, or 26. I can't remember. And I was like, okay, I kind of need to see this. There was a couple of parts where I mean, it was overly done and it was completely stupid, but I really did feel a bit like sick. I was like, no, I don't. No, like, what are you doing? Like, this is just gross. And what she's clearly just doing to shock. It was just, it's obviously shock tactics. I love that Sophie Alice Baxter had a comeback. I love that for her, that she was everywhere again. Good for her. Well done, Sophie. So, because, she really was a bit of a one-hit wonder, and then she had that one hit again.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, she was like back on the charts for that song when it came back
out. She
Yeah.
was everywhere. Uh-huh. Yeah. So great. And again, Barry Keoghan joining Ray Fiennes in the Hall of Fame for full frontal nudity for men.
That's right. putting it front and center.
Yeah. Need to start a letterbox list for that.
Yes. There we go. Making note of that real quick. Okay.
Thank you. I like the fact that she's provocative, but a lot of directors are, and I think we said this when we were talking the January recap. Just because she's a woman doing it, like there's just a different discourse, I think.
Totally.
Like what is a woman allowed to portray? What themes is she allowed to get into? How daring can she be? Like, we shouldn't really be making a difference here. So
yeah, I think she's 2 for 2 in my book. I can respect people who don't care for either of the two works, because I totally understand. I was just watching a clip yesterday on Instagram when somebody was talking about Promising Young Woman, and they said that had that movie come out not in the pandemic where people could actually go see it in the theaters, they think it would have probably done even better in terms of people understanding that it was much more comedic and satire than like a true outright drama, because I do think that there's a lot of satire built into that story, and then it obviously got thrust into the awards spotlight, which sort of made it feel more serious or more heavy thematically. But I do think Emerald was being very playful with that movie, and Carey Mulligan's fantastic in it, and Bo Burnham is fantastic in it, and a number of other actors who were in that film were really great. I saw Saltburn the weekend it came out. Amanda, there's a little theater that used to exist by us called the Plaza Frontenac, and it's like
Rest in peace.
Oh my gosh, it was terrible seats. It was old school.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah, it was real old school. But my wife and I saw it opening weekend, packed theater. I don't think anyone else in the theater knew what it was, because there were like 70-year-old people going to see it. There were 16-year-old, 17-year-old young people doing it. Like, it was a true mixed crowd, and everyone was reacting to the bathtub scene together, to the grave scene together. Like, it was a very fun. It was fun. It was a fun kind of trashy movie experience with a group where everyone was reacting to the provocative things in real time. I do think, though, that, to quote a friend of ours, Peterson, who we all know in the movie space, the movie's kind of got rocks for brains, as he likes to use the term. Like, it's not as sharp as some people maybe think it is, but I do think it's a lot of fun, and I think it allows all of the actors to really have a great time. Rosamund Pike is having a blast. Richard E. Grant is having a blast. Like, they're all just
they're fabulous.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's such a fun movie.
Carey Mulligan again.
Yes.
In a tiny role. It's almost like the best part of it. She's fabulous.
Yeah, I have no qualms with either of her movies. I think I like to see Emerald like pushing the envelope with stuff and having fun and being she seems like a playful creator, and it seems like Wuthering Heights will probably fall in line with that. But we will review that at some point. Heather, you and I will get to Wuthering Heights probably at the end of February when we do our next recap, so we can really review that film. But what we're primarily here for now is on-screen couples. And so what we have each done is we've each come up with a list of our top 5 on-screen couples customized to us. And then we've each also come up with our worst on-screen couple. And I'll set some parameters really quickly. So we sort of used a factor for the best on-screen couples as attractive people, great chemistry together on screen, sort of checks all the boxes of what makes a great on-screen couple. And on the worst on-screen couple side of things, we're looking at people who are very attractive, who you would assume should have good on-screen chemistry, and in reality, it is just completely a wooden relationship. There's nothing in it. So I'm sure we'll have some fun. We haven't discussed too much all of our lists, so there should be some surprises here. I will go ahead and have Amanda start us off with her first on-screen favorite couple. Now, Amanda, maybe give us a little bit of insight before you give us your first pick. Like, how did you go about coming up with your list of 5 on-screen couples?
Yeah, coming off of our Ray Fiennes episode, I decided I can't prep for this. This is like such a big. Yeah, so I actually I watched one new movie at the request of Heather, and I just picked from anything I had seen past that. And what I discovered is that I find heterosexual romance to be so boring that I couldn't pick. And so like I have like one as like a treat because I'm like these are all so bland. None of these people have any chemistry. So we're doing any sort of order? Or is this just one of my 5?
However you want to go about it.
Okay, I'll pick the easy one then to go first because I've already talked about this one ad nauseum for the CLP list, and that is Brokeback Mountain.
Yes.
The one that I immediately threw in there because there's so much going on that's like just like micro movements in both of their like emotions and their faces that go on throughout this entire movie that I don't know, they're both just like acting to a 10 and there's such an attention to detail to it. Beautiful. I could watch this movie every single day and just watch the two of them interact.
I'm still so aggrieved that Brokeback Mountain did not make the CLP list over at greatest movie of all time. Amanda and I will have our revenge, I promise you. We both had it in our own personal top 50 lists.
Yes, I will talk about it in every list that requires anything, I think.
It's such a great movie. It won the revised prize for Best Picture in 2005, so it's on the shelf behind me over here. I love Jake. I love Heath. They make a wonderful pair on screen. Awesome pick. That was on my short list as well. I did not ultimately go with it, but I do think it's one of my favorites. Now, I will give you my first pick, and then we'll go over to Heather. So what I had to do is I had to sort of like, there were too many options to try to rank this. So I sort of had to give myself category parameters. And so what I've done is I've given myself 5 different categories, and then I picked one for each category. And so my first category will be couple goals. And this goes out to my wife because she wishes I was much more like this man than I actually am in real life. And that would be Gomez and Morticia from the Addams Family, who anytime they're around each other, they can't keep their hands off each other. And I love that Raul Julia and Angelica Houston in those Addams Family movies are so electric together. You very much feel the chemistry between those two characters. And I think it's a lot of fun to see love expressed so openly and joyously on film. Like they are just always wanting to be embracing each other constantly. And so for me, that's my couple's goal. Anytime my wife's not happy with how much affection I'm giving, she just likes to point out how I need to be more like Gomez. And so I can respect that. So Gomez and Morticia are going to be my first pick in my couple goals category. All right, Heather, what about you? What's your first on-screen couple?
Okay, well, first of all, on the Brokeback Mountain thing, so when I polled a few people who have not seen as many films as we have, one of them, the first thing that she said was Brokeback Mountain. So there you go. Absolutely what you're saying. I also was going through my list of like films that I'd say. I just went through my whole like letterbox and was like, okay, yep. And I tell you, I could also have made a list entirely of non-heterosexual couples. You're absolutely right. So on that front, I'm going to take the film that I requested you watch, Amanda, and you did. Sneaky suspicion you might have it on your list unless you cut it not to have overlap, but I am going to say Paul Mescal and Andrew Scott in All of Us Strangers.
Beautiful. Yeah, I don't know like how I didn't get to that movie until now.
Crazy. Yeah.
Exceptional.
So this was my second favorite film of 2023. I am still in shock that Andrew Scott wasn't nominated for an Oscar or for a freaking BAFTA. For goodness sake, the rest of the cast got in at BAFTA and he didn't. Like, what does the man have to do? I mean, he's incredible in this. This was a really strange theatrical experience for me. I went to see it like almost, it was like a preview. So sometimes if you kind of keep an eye on screenings here, you can get like weeks before the official kind of film comes out here, you can see, oh, there's a preview. So if you have something on your watch list on IMDb, it might pop up, and then sometimes it disappears if they decide to scratch it. Oh, happens a lot, but has happened a lot recently, unfortunately. But sometimes it's actually real, and it's actually a film that they're going to show. And this was the case for All of Us Strangers. So I saw it like months before it officially came out in Germany, and it was packed. Like, I think I got like the second or third last seat available. So I'm sat there in this little cinema, uncomfortable seats, to your point as well, and just sat there in the corner, squashed in. I normally like to be on the aisle because I have like fairly long legs. I know people like to be center, and I'm like, no, I need the aisle, sorry. But it was small, so it didn't matter. But I was squashed on the other side because I didn't know the cinema very well. So I didn't know what numbers were, and I didn't know that the aisle on the other side was actually squashed against the wall.
That happens.
So I was like, oh, I hate when that happens. Anyway, so I'm sat there and I am lost. And the film, and it's dark, and of course then finding some of it quite amusing because it was shot near where my parents live, and so I was recognizing the mall and the shopping center and everything, and I'm just going along with this and this beautiful love story and the chemistry between the two of them. And we've all seen the press tour as well, and I've said this before, I love when you can tell that there's real chemistry between the actors in real life, and you can tell that. Like, I mean, Paul Mescal and Andrew Scott are great friends. They had amazing press tour going on, and then so I'm like, there's just like these cheeky little grins between them, the support, Andrew Scott letting go and actually letting Harry, Paul Mescal's character, into his life again. And then the end happens. And I can count on my, one hand how many times I have cried in the cinema, and this is one of them. And it was just they didn't put the lights up for ages. They just left like the needle drop of the power of love, like they just left it going, and then they kept the lights down low. Even when we all stayed for the credits, nobody got up, and you could just hear the sniffling, like in the dark, all these people, and nobody moved, even when the credits were finished, and they kept the lights down and everybody just sat there. It was, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Incredible. Yeah, it's such a beautiful film, and those two, they communicate so much, and there's so much connection there between them, and it's just fabulous.
Yeah, Andrew Haigh.
What a film!
That movie and the other Andrew Haigh film called Weekend was also on my list of a short list, because it's also about two gentlemen who sort of have a romantic relationship together. Really good stuff. Amanda, how did you take All of Us Strangers, having just seen it recently?
It very quickly like made it to the top of this list that I'm making, so I do still have it, but I can throw in like a sixth if we need to. But I knew of Andrew Scott, and I've seen him in a couple of things. I've been sleeping on him, and I had mentioned this because he's exceptional in this movie. Not even like the chemistry part aside, just his acting by himself. It's incredible to watch, and so it really took me by surprise. Also, how I had never seen it. I had no idea, because this is like right up my alley of things. So yeah, I could watch it again. I mean, it's devastating, but the chemistry between them is so good.
But also just between him and all the others as well. Like the chemistry as an ensemble. Like that scene with his dad. Oh my God. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That movie just completely got neglected at the Oscars and all of the awards recognition that year. So when I eventually get to revising that year, I guarantee you All of Us Strangers will be doing well. And Heather might be campaigning to be on that episode, probably, to make sure that she can get some of the the
I
picks in
have
there.
very, very, very strong thoughts about that film year, actually,
Yes.
2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll
I
make
mean,
note of that
we're going for Messi. Messi is getting a supporting actor Oscar nomination.
Win.
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, Robert Downey Jr., Messi the dog,
Yeah.
you know.
No
Yeah.
contest.
Who had the bread up? Who's more, the less annoying and oppressed to her? Let's think about it. Yeah.
All right. Well, so my number 4 couple that I will get to now is my next category. I'm going to call this female love because I think, like to Amanda's point, there's so many great male and female relationships, especially in recent years, that I think have far exceeded all of the heterosexual relationships in recent years. There's more interest in them, and because I'm going to be covering the film year 2019 in a couple of months, this movie's relatively fresh on my brain. I saw it in 2019, but I've seen it a couple of times. That is the film Portrait of a Lady on Fire from 2019. And the characters, Marianne and Eloise, who are the two central figures in that film. I don't want to spoil it for anyone if you haven't seen it. Number one, it's one of the most beautiful looking films of the century. It's gorgeous. There's like you could pull images of that and put it on your wall as a painting. And the relationship between those two characters, the time period, how taboo female relationships were at that time. I just think it checks so many boxes. It's got this great sexual tension in the air the whole time, much like another film and another pair I'm going to mention here in a bit as well. And it also has a really devastating ending for people who have not seen it. There's a scene at the end that it doesn't leave you in the best place in terms of the characters, but this movie just really resonates with me. And in 2019, that's a famous film year with Parasite and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and all these other films. And I feel like Portrait of a Lady on Fire kind of got pushed to the side. And so I promise you a little spoiler here. When I cover 2019 in a couple of months, expect me to be talking more about Portrait of a Lady on Fire. And so I'll save some of my thoughts about it for that point. But I do think this is one of the great representations of female love on screen recently. So I don't know if either of the two of you have seen Portrait of a Lady on Fire or not.
It was not necessarily on my short list because I think I had mentioned before that I'd watched this rather recently, and I wanted to like this movie as a whole more than I did. And I think because of that is because these are both two very beautiful people. I don't get the chemistry as much, I feel like. It did not, maybe it's just because it didn't resonate with me, right? But I do get your point that this is a very good one. It just for me didn't work.
Yeah, the first time I saw it, it didn't connect with me as much as the second, and now I've seen it 3 times, I think, and each time I feel like there's a lot of subtlety in their relationship. Yeah. All right. Well,
I've seen it in French with no subtitles, so I didn't get the full thing.
Not the way to experience that movie.
But I mean, I understand French, but still, it's good to have the subtitles. Need a little bit of help.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's my female love category right there. And now, Heather, why don't you give us your second on-screen couple?
Well, I'll just continue then with that theme and put the other. So when we first started thinking about this, it's like, right, there's 2 obvious couples I'm going to have. And one of them, top of the list, was Paul Mescal and Andrew Scott. And the second one is Cate Blanchett and Rooney Mara in Carol.
Excellent choice.
Thank you. Yeah. This is there's so many stolen glances. Again, we're going to come to this with a few other films, I think, further down the lists. So many stolen glances to kind of, can we do this? Can we not? Do we feel what we're saying? Do we really feel what we're feeling? Can we say that we're feeling what we're feeling? So much of that tension. And again, a film that we'll probably be coming to later. Sometimes you don't need to have that expressed with sex or even, physical touch or physical contact. It's enough just to have that stolen look, and that can sizzle more than your, most erotic sex scene. In fact, usually it does, right? And I think you see this really well in this film. And again, they're also 2 very beautiful, attractive people, which we said was also a criteria. So
yeah, much like,
and also there's the difference just between
yes,
Kate's chemistry with Rooney versus with her husband. I mean, come on, like, please.
It's so much like Brokeback, where
Yes.
where Heath and Jake don't have the same chemistry with their wives in that film, as opposed to the way that they connect with each other. Absolutely.
Yep. Yep. There's another example of that. Yep.
Carol was on my short list. If it wasn't going to go to Portrait of a Lady on Fire, that was probably going to be my second choice in female love. So I'm glad you gave that one a shout. Amanda, what's your second on-screen couple that you're going to shout out?
I'm gonna give it to my one male-female couple on this list until we get to later, which is Atonement. Atonement, which I have seen one time, so I'm not like super well versed in it, but we all know like the dress, and we all know those scenes, and we know the looks, and so this one was an easy choice for me.
That's a great pick.
I need to rewatch it, I think.
McAvoy and Knightley are just electric together. Do you prefer Atonement over Pride and Prejudice? I know that came up on a 2007 episode I did a couple months ago. Like, what's your preference on those two movies?
I have not seen Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, okay.
I have it in like a 4-pack. I think with Atonement, it was like one I picked up at an antique store.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's another thing that I really should have gotten to before I did this. But like, I was like, it's fine. We'll be whatever. I guess I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay. I prefer Atonement over Pride and Prejudice.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's a more interesting relationship. And that's another movie with a devastating final scene on the beach.
Yeah, I think that's the theme
yes.
of this episode is just going to be all of these have devastating endings, which is so sad. Maybe I just only watch romances that like are actually just completely depressing.
And only Heather...
You're all coming to my side with bleakness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Heather, only you'll know this, but maybe Amanda and I are setting ourselves up for what to expect with Wuthering Heights. I have no idea how that movie plays out or ends in terms of whatever Emerald Fennell is going to do with it. It's been so long since I've seen the 1939 version, so I don't know if that movie has a happy or a sad ending.
Well, it depends what she's taking from the source material. Okay? Basically, everybody's awful to everybody.
Great.
We'll discuss in about 2.5 weeks now where we stand on.
Yeah, but I don't think she's gonna. From what I've heard, snippets, she's not. Yeah, she's not covering the.
Okay.
Maybe the. Not happy end, but the kind of the. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think she. That's what I've heard, that she's not touching.
Okay.
Any of that.
Well, now
any of the dice stuff.
Heather, it's over to you for your number 3 favorite couple.
Okay, right. Now, where am I going to go next? I am going to continue on the theme of sizzling looks across a room. Can we, can't we, should we, shouldn't we? And I am going to go with a last-minute addition to my list, which I'd completely forgotten about, and that is Daniel Day-Lewis and Michelle Pfeiffer in The Age of Innocence.
So close to picking that as well. Yes. Another movie with a lot of repressed stuff, and Amanda,
yes.
have you seen The Age of Innocence?
I have not heard of this movie.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. I'm literally pulling it up on my letter.
There's your reaction video. There's your reaction snippet.
Oh my god,
Andrew!
I thought I'd be like really good.
You'll have to come over and raid my library and borrow a copy because I've got it on the shelf over here. What a masterful movie! Yes.
It's so good. It is so untypical. Well, untypical Scorsese. Like there's, it's if you say you watch Age of Innocence and you know what it's about and blah 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 blah, and then you find out it was like directed by Martin Scorsese, and you're like, wait, what? How? Like it's just not what you think of when you think of Martin Scorsese. But it is wonderful. Also got Winona Ryder in it, so which is probably why I watched it back in the day. Let's be real here. Yeah. So again, it's like actually the guy should be with someone else, but actually, really, there's another person that he has more chemistry with and actually more longing for, and then just some of the words that they speak to each other, and it's almost like kind of seeing her, or just like seeing her once, or just like feeling her touch again, that's like gives him life for like the next months to go.
Yes. It's one of those movies where just like a hand on a hand
yes
feels so much more intimate than anything else Yeah. I think you'll really enjoy that experience, Amanda.
Yes.
It's probably Martin Scorsese's great film that's like under the radar. People always talking about it, but I think it's one of his masterpieces for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I do love Winona Ryder, but personally, I think this is possibly one of, like, if not her best.
Yeah, it's up there for sure.
I mean, it's got to be up there because it's very different, I think, in a way as well. And also Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean, she's had some great roles, but this is also top tier. And I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis, what do you want to say? I mean, he's always great. So this also in his filmography, I think, gets a little bit, pushed to the back a bit, but he's also fabulous. And also kind of, playing this kind of like romantic leading man, which is not something he's not necessarily the first person you think of when you think, oh, romantic, handsome, leading man with lots of, sizzling chemistry with his female co-star. I mean, Phantom Thread. I mean, I guess they had chemistry, but like that relationship was also a whole kind of weird. So yes, no, Amanda, you must see it.
Yes, yep. I'm gonna make sure you get a copy of that soon. All right, Amanda, what is your number 3 on-screen couple?
This is one that Heather and we didn't necessarily fight over, but I took it from her, and that is.
It's fine.
I'm going to talk about Challengers, but I'm only going to talk about the 2 men.
Okay.
I don't care about Zendaya's relationship with either of them because that's not important and nobody cares about it. Those 2 men, they, except for the one scene, they don't do anything. But like, there's like a scene with a churro and he's like feeding the other one the churro. 2 like goofy looking dudes. I don't know what else to say about it. There's just so much like weird chemistry in it. It's a lot of tension.
I always think about the 2 of them in the sauna together, and
yes,
that's a steamy scene for a lot of reasons, pun intended.
Yeah, this is one of those that like I watched it and I'm like, I went to everyone I know, like, you need to watch Challengers. We have to talk about these 2 men.
That's a great pick there. Zendaya does feel kind of like secondary to the story, even though she's very much like the focal point of
it's
that
like
film.
her movie.
Yeah. All right.
Well, is it though?
Right.
Well, like I don't need to know about her chemistry with either of these men.
No. Because, well, I have whole theories about Challengers. I could do a full podcast on Challengers. That was my favorite film of that year, and and when we're talking about great theatrical experiences, oh my god, I came out of that and I said that is the most fun I've had at film in the theater for I don't know when, and the whole audience was completely vibing with it, like everything. It's so obvious he's going to do it, but like the ball and the tennis racket at the end, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. You know he's going to do it, but there's that build up to him doing it because you know he's going to do it. He's got, I'll put the freaking ball in that spot. And then he does it, and the audience knew he was going to, and it's this build up, and everybody else went, oh, and there was like this, like out, the whole audience was like, no, and you're like, come on, guys, you knew he was going to do it, but it was just that outpouring of like, finally, like the release of the tension.
Such a slow scene. It's like slow-mo of him doing it. And I was like, just do it. We know.
Just put the ball in the triangle bit.
Well, and between West Side Story and Challengers, like Mike Feist's hotness scale is off the charts on film.
But I love him. What a odd man.
I prefer Josh.
Okay. I mean, Josh is a very handsome man as well, yes. But
he played King Charles, please. Like
King Charles should be very fortunate that he got someone as good looking as Josh O'Connor to play him in that film or in that TV show.
Yeah, I mean, The Crown. Oh, it was also Emerald Fennell jump scare in The Crown playing Camilla.
That's right. Yeah. I forgot about that. All right, so for my number 3 choice for on-screen couple, I'm going to go male love this time. So I went female love last category. My choice for male love, and this is really just kind of a fix-it position because last year in January, Heather and I talked about the 2016 film year, and I spent most of my time on that episode talking about La La Land, which is my favorite movie of that year. However, I think that Chiron and Kevin in the film Moonlight, really that story's fantastic. by the nature of that film, it was hard to recognize that movie in the way that I feel like it deserves recognition, because it's broken out in 3 chapters and you've got different actors playing these gentlemen through different periods of their life. So it was hard to really like focus on them getting acting nominations. But especially the third act of that film, when the two of them are grown and Chiron is like so steeped in sort of being like a tough guy and a gangster, and he's very much like in the drug dealing world, and he's trying to like put up this shell. And then when he shows up at that diner and meets with Kevin, and Kevin cooks him the food and sort of like breaks that shell of that movie is just really powerful. And I think it really speaks to a lot of people, and especially I know that there's like a stigma of gay characters in the African American community, and I think that Barry Jenkins so brilliantly broke down that stigma and highlighted it on screen in such an effective way. And I just found the relationship between these two gentlemen was so tender, it was so honest, it was really beautiful. I love Moonlight, and I think Moonlight definitely deserves more recognition than I probably gave it on that episode that Heather and I were talking about, because there were so many movies to cover, and I know Heather did speak to Moonlight really, really well in that episode. But I just wanted to kind of bring it full circle and say I love Moonlight so much, and I think these two gentlemen and these two characters go on such a fascinating journey. So I wanted to give it a little bit of shout out here. So you can say I told you so.
I just say for the millionth time that I am the only person in that episode that gave Moonlight a win. I didn't give the film the win, but I gave that, and you didn't, and either did Adam. So you can't love it that much. On the Moonlight side, I did talk about it, but I also am on record as saying I actually think of the 3/3, like it did gradually worse, for want of a better word. Sorry, like to me the third is the weakest, and I'm sorry, because that's exactly the part that you're talking about with the chemistry. I didn't feel it. It didn't feel genuine to me, but that's just maybe just me personally. I don't know whether I just didn't like the portrayal. I don't know. But I know that I'm in a minority there, but it's just the way I remember the film and the way I, received it. And yeah, but I totally get it, because I say I know I'm in a minority, but that's
Amanda, Moonlight fan?
I'm going to say this, and people are going to be like, does this woman watch movies? I've seen this movie once, and that was very recently after it came out. And I'm revisiting it probably before this episode airs, because I'm getting to that year. Cool. So I will rewatch it. And so what I remember is actually the third.
Okay.
The most. That one is the one when I think of like chemistry wise, I'm thinking of the second one. Maybe it's because I was closer to that age, because I was still like a teenager when this movie came out. So that, I get it. But I'll have to rewatch it to remember like the back half, because yes, it does get worse. Also, okay. I agree.
We'll put a pin in that until you revisit that movie for sure.
It will be interesting if as and when Tiana Taylor wins the Oscar for one battle after another. There's so many parallels being like made, because people are like, oh my God, she's like in the movie and then she just disappears for the rest of it. And everybody's like, yes, but that's exactly what Mahershala Ali did in, oh my God, I was going to say Green Book. God, no. He's in that the whole time. He's the lead actor in that, actually. Sure. But anyway, that's what he does in Moonlight. But the point is that because you remember, okay, she comes back a little bit at the end, at least her voice, but you miss him so much in that film. Yes. And his presence is still felt. His presence, his influence is felt throughout the entire film, but he is not there. And that's why he's won. Because he's just such a powerful character and influence on not just what's his name, Chiron, not just on him but also on the film, and that's why he won. So I totally see the parallels, and I think that if she wins, it's the same reason, because she's been there, she's been at the beginning, and you remember her presence through Willa, of course, and her strength. But then, of course, she does come back a little bit at the end. But yeah, similar narrative there.
Definitely. Okay, Amanda, up to you for your number 2 favorite couple. We've done 3 so far, so this will be your 4th one.
Yeah. Yes, I was like
numbers
counting
are
all the
confusing me
I'm
here.
counting down, counting up. I'm
Yeah,
coming off a
like,
cold.
I don't even know. What do I have left? Yeah,
Drugged
so
up.
I forgot. So with what I have left, I'd like to redact what I said earlier about
Okay.
male and female couples, because I do have another one,
Okay.
which was my sixth that I threw in addition to All of Us Strangers. And this is just appeasing the teenager in me, and this is Leo and Kate in Titanic. Because and like Heather and I we talked about this because like you find him so boyish in this one.
He's a
But,
child.
Like, I watched this excessively when I was like a preteen and a teenager. That like it made sense for me because he was like super cute then. I mean, I've always found him like super cute even when he was younger than this movie. I don't know, it just feels like the easy answer. I don't think I have anything exciting to say about the chemistry, but a great movie overall.
I just watched it again last week because I'm in the middle of 1997 prep, and so it's pretty fresh on my brain as well. They're great together. Can't really argue with their presence. We've had sort of this running debate in our group chat about Leo, and I still contend that I think this is like his most conventionally attractive age. Just like, again, I sort of like you, Amanda. I kind of remember all of the girls that I went to school with at this period in time having him in their locker, and he was like on Teen Beat magazine and all that kind of thing. And so like in my brain, I still picture like every girl that I know at 40 still thinks of Leo in 1997. So that's just kind of like the way I think of him too.
Yes, I mean, you're probably right. I'm showing my age. But, I mean, first of all, he is older than me. So, it's not that. And I am thinking that if I had been, say, 10 years younger or so seeing Titanic, I still don't think he would have done it for me because I had Christian Slater on my wall at that age. But I think he would have been very popular with, most other people who had pictures of, God, I don't even know, like Johnny Depp, or who else did they have? I don't know, Johnny Depp, Keanu Reeves, I guess they had. I'm trying to think who everybody had. I just did Christian Slater. And John Bon Jovi, randomly. Yeah. So there you go. Yes. But
all right. Leo and
Kate?
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's the standard. It's the standard answer, isn't it? It's not the wrong answer. Like you ask everybody. I asked my friend group as well, and one of them said Brokeback, another one said Titanic, and Leo and Kate. And she's like, "Is that too basic?" And I'm like, "I think it's just not the wrong answer, is it? I
think I'm just really basic."
Well, sometimes the basic answer is the right answer. And so
exactly.
Like, this is
sometimes
the
it just
answer.
is. Yeah. Sometimes it is just the correct answer, as we will probably see when we come to the worst couple.
Yes.
I think, Andrew, you have the correct answer, and I'm just. But I don't know what Amanda's doing, but I am just it's the obvious answer, and I'm just going to have something because I don't want to overlap and we just need to talk about more.
Okay.
But you have the correct answer.
I agree. Yes, I do.
Yes.
Okay, so my fourth couple that I'm picking is coming from the category bromance, because I wanted to make sure I also identified some platonic relationship love. And RRR, one of my favorite movies over the last 5 or 6 years, Beam and Raju, the two central characters in that film. That movie is just a bromance for 3 hours, and those two guys just loving each other, loving being around each other. They come from different worlds. They're thrust together, and they sort of create this team dynamic between the two of them. I just get so much joy watching those two gentlemen in the dance scene when they're supporting each other. And there's the one scene where they're in like a fight and one's on the other one's shoulders. And there's so much fun around that relationship between Beam and Raju and RRR. And I just want to shout it out really quickly because that's my favorite bromance of the modern age. I could probably think of some others as well, but that one I love seeing that depiction of those two gentlemen. All right, Heather, what is your fourth couple?
I don't know what to do here because I don't know. I'm kind of like, maybe I'll just do what Amanda did and not do the quirky pick, but just go for the me pick. And the me pick is Winona Ryder and Christian Slater in Heathers. Because of course it is.
Yep.
I don't even know if they had like massive chemistry. I don't even care. These were just I said Christian Slater was on my wall. Winona Ryder was on my wall as well. I mean, please, like, this is teenage me. This is just like this was the perfect film. You know, like, she's gorgeous, he's gorgeous, everything's gorgeous. The film is hilarious. I rewatched it recently and discussed it with Clarissa on I've Seen This One, and rewatching it was such a joy after, God knows how many years not having seen it. Loads of jokes or satire that I really did not pick up when I was like 12 or 13, like for sure did not. Also kind of like, oh, okay, they said that. A few things that hadn't aged so well, but then I kind of thought about, well, maybe that was the whole point. But the thing that you just remember is Winona Ryder being like, caught in the spell of Christian Slater's character, as we all may well be. I understand entirely. So yeah, this is a me pick. This is a pick for me, and
it's the right pick for you.
And well, it is. It's a good pick. I mean, I have another pick that's for me, but they're not overly attractive. They're just really wholesome. But we'll cover that in honorable mentions later.
Okay.
Another for me. You can guess what that is as well.
I will also I'll make sure to have a link to your episode over at I've Seen That One with Clarissa. So if people want to listen to you gush about Christian for another hour and 20 or so, they can jump over. And Winona, yes.
Yes.
All right.
No. That was a very important film. Yes.
Okay, so we're up to our final on-screen couple choice for each of us. I'll go first, and then we'll see if we all. I know we talked about this movie a little bit, so you two might also have this one. It is, for me, this was the number one with a bullet, like it was obvious going to be. And this is my category, which I call Too Hot to Handle. It's Maggie Cheung, Tony Leung in the film In the Mood for Love, Wong Kar-wai's 2000 masterpiece. When I think of on-screen tension and just like chemistry in a look and two people passing by and a glance and how much magnetism can come off of a body without even an embrace, it's In the Mood for Love. The two of them, they're two of the most beautiful looking people in cinematic history. And then the final scene when he's talking into a space, that movie breaks me in a way that very few movies break me in terms of where those characters end up. And I love In the Mood for Love. Shout out to that movie forever. So that's going to be my Too Hot to Handle category and my all-time favorite on-screen couple, Tony Leung, Maggie Cheung. Heather, do you want to give us your final on-screen couple?
Well, we mentioned, a slight touch. We mentioned that not touching, not having any kind of physical contact, that can be hotter than the most erotic sex scene. And my fifth and final selection is In the Mood for Love, Tony Leung and Maggie Cheung. Of course, it is the correct answer. For all the reasons you said. I mean, just thinking about the scene in the rain when they're going to get rice or whatever, and they just pass each other, or just in the corridors, going back and forth. Incredible. It's also a beautiful looking film. And this is one of these things where I know you and who is it who's also favorite? Is it Jalen?
Yeah.
Is it her favorite? Yes. And again, one of these random things I had it in my IMDb watch list, and I always like to see what's coming, what's in theaters, and it just popped up. When was this? Maybe half a year ago, and it popped up as being in theaters. I was like, oh, must have been for the 25th anniversary, I guess. So I was like, I need to go and see this. I went to see it, and I was like, oh my God, you were not kidding. Because when something is overhyped, and then you're like, okay, it's not that great. Incredible. So yes, so everything you said and more, and they say, everything that they were doing well in the Age of Innocence, or with the or in Carol, and this is like the blueprint for the on-screen chemistry, sizzling hot, but there's no sexing. They had one, they shot one, and they cut it. And I think that was a very, very, very wise decision.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because this only works because of the fact that there's always that question mark. Always. Yeah.
All right, Amanda.
Beautiful film.
Your final on-screen couple pick is?
Yes, this is one of my favorite types of movies. Is a total vibes movie. I also have In the Mood for Love. It was one. It was an easy like beginning of my list when I was sketching this out. They might not have done it first, but they have done it the best of
Hmm.
the yearning and the looks and the everything. It was one of those same thing that like I didn't I was very nervous about it being overhyped because I watched it for the first time in prep for the CLP list and it
Mm.
made it onto my list
That's why
because
I
it
watched it.
yeah, it was beautiful and they almost like Pavlov dog you because the score is the same every time that they have like a passing by. It's the same exact music and that every time it comes on I'm like what are they doing? So, it's a really good one.
How high did it make it on your list, if you remember?
Ooh, it's probably right in the middle like 30
Okay,
something
that's
maybe.
pretty good for
I
a
can't
movie you'd
remember.
never seen prior to all of a sudden jump into your top 50 all
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think I had it similar actually. Yeah, I think it was somewhere around there for me too.
Same, yeah. It was somewhere in that ballpark. And I will that's another film year 2000 that I'll be covering in a couple months from now and expect more In the Mood for Love conversation from me for sure. Okay, on the flip side, worst on-screen couples, which might be even more fun to talk about. I'll go last because I have shared what my worst is, and I think we can all agree it's going to be the winner. Um, Heather, do you have another option you want to throw out there as a worst on-screen couple?
Are we going to do honorable mentions?
Sure,
Just
yeah.
because I want to
Yeah, go
give
for it.
some. No, I mean not not for like
For
so for hot.
favorites. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
none.
Okay. Well, I have lots. And
You
I
had a
just want
long
to shout.
list.
I had a long list. That's why I said it's not a short list. It's a long list. This is my long list. Just a few other that just you know. So I scored them out just because. I mean, I don't think he's particularly hot, but I had Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine because I just love their on-screen like vibe and how that film all ends up. I love that. I love that film. I love The Apartment in general. Like it's also on my CLP top 50. Love it. For wholesome, I already kind of teased it. Ultimate wholesome couple. Absolutely not hot, but just so lovely. It's Frances McDormand and John Carroll Lynch in Fargo.
Absolutely.
Yes, you're nodding, of course.
Yep.
This was the obvious one. This was a me pick. Shout out Eva Green and Daniel Craig, Casino Royale. Ray Fiennes, of course, and Kristen Scott Thomas in The English Patient. Sorry, I just went through my letterbox like list and it was like writing things down. So that's why I have kind of a little bit toxic, but still kind of hot. I have Marion Cotillard and Matthias Schoenaerts from Rust and Bone. Horrible film. Ooh, I mean, great film. I enjoyed it, but like, ooh, bit of toxicity going on there, but you know, they're kind of hot. Old school, I have also continuing the toxic theme. I have Clark Gable and Vivian Leigh in Gone with the Wind. Super toxic, but kind of hot. And then really random, and obviously I have challengers, but we agreed that I would just, sacrifice challengers for you, Amanda. That's fine. You're welcome. And really random. But then I was going through my list and I was like, oh yes, Kevin Costner and Sean Young in No Way Out. I remember that being one of the films that I remember seeing like when I was quite young and just being like, whoa. Because it's like kind of, I haven't seen it since then, I don't think. So maybe it's really not hot. But I remember watching it when I was quite fairly young and then thinking, whoa, there's just like this really kind of like, there's something sizzling here, and so that's really kind of a very random pick. But yes, so there we go. Just a few more that I would shout out.
I've never seen No Way Out, so it's going on the watch list.
I don't even know if it's that particularly good a film.
Kevin Costner looks pretty good on the cover, on the poster. So
yeah, he looks pretty good in the cover, and it's got Gene Hackman. Yeah, he's the husband of Sean Young, and obviously she has an affair with Kevin Costner, and I can't even remember really, but I remember them being quite hot. Cover's hot. Right.
Well, now what's less hot than that? Give us your
yeah. So speaking of Kevin Costner on the honorable mentions for that, I have Kevin Costner and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Because no, what is no? No. We're not.
Yeah.
No. I'm not going to mention that. Then I had to an Adam It's not. It's just them in a, like that. Just attractive, in my opinion. I recently watched Double Indemnity. I just got really annoyed with Fred McMurray saying "baby" the whole time. It was, and I've since found out that there is a drinking game for Double Indemnity, that every time he says "baby," you have to drink. So you'd probably be drunk by like the first half hour. But yeah, that didn't really work for me, that chemistry. I didn't buy that relationship with Barbara Stanwyck. But my actual answer is Tom Cruise and Kelly McGillis in Top Gun, because what are we doing? Like,
yeah.
The side, sorry, we have to go into details here. The tongue. Why are we focusing on that? Why are their mouths open and what is this? This is completely oh no, it's just not hot. You're just sitting there going, this is kind of really disgusting. Like, what a waste.
You could have picked Tom Cruise in almost anyone he's ever shared a screen with, to be quite frank. I have a hard time believing Tom Cruise has any passion inside of his body. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's think it. Yeah. So yeah, and then the end when she comes back and then they put you've lost that loving feeling in the jukebox, and I'm just like, and then I know you don't like Top Gun Maverick, but it's so much better with
Connolly's better. Yeah.
What's her name?
Jennifer Connelly.
That's it, Jennifer Connelly. I mean, of course it is. I mean, she's
Jennifer
woman.
Connelly. Yeah.
And not that Kelly McGillis is not,
right.
A beautiful woman in Top Gun. I'm not saying that. That's the thing. That's why it's so wasted, because it's like, the potential is actually there, but it's just, I'm just not buying it. It's just icky. It just doesn't look good. It looks really staged. We've got like weird tongue action going on. We're focusing on those tongues, and it's just.
Well, I think what makes it even worse is next to them is a really good pair in Anthony Daniels or Anthony Edwards. Not Anthony Edwards, she's my brain.
No, Anthony Daniels, that's C-3PO. What
I know,
are you doing?
Then I said Anthony Edwards, the basketball player. You know who I'm talking about. Him and Meg Ryan at the piano.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just
take me to bed or lose me forever.
Yeah,
they do that, and then Kelly McGillis then says it to Tom Cruise. Right. Goes, "Hey, Mav, you big stug," and you're like, "I'm not buying this. This is pathetic. No, stop it." He is much better chemistry with Val Kilmer. Now, to Amanda's original point, right? That is the story we all want to see in Top Gun.
Yes, the chomp in his face when they're in the locker room. That's the chemistry between those two guys. Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Yes. Good luck topping that one, Amanda. Tom Cruise is a pretty hard worst on-screen couple. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I have a couple honorable mentions just of things that I thought of that are not hot and probably don't even have good chemistry. One of which I watched as an upset of several decades ago because I love John Malkovich and it's Dangerous Liaisons. I wouldn't consider anything going on in that movie hot, but there is something very interesting and unique about the two of them, like him with Glenn Close. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Also, you reminded me that I finished F1 yesterday. A perfect example of why you don't need to like throw a romantic storyline in something that doesn't need it. So I'm just going to leave that there. And my worst is a duel because it also is one of my favorites. But I didn't want to like throw it. It's like there's two couples, and it is a movie that I watch every Christmas time at least twice because I'm obsessed with it. And it is Happiest Season because Kristen Stewart and Mackenzie Davis are two completely different types of gay people in this movie, and they have the worst chemistry, and I hate everything about their relationship, and I watch the movie twice a year to remember how much I hate it. And then Aubrey Plaza shows up, and she is just the perfect woman in this movie. And you think, wow, she should really stay in this movie longer. I need more of her with Kristen Stewart. And then it doesn't happen. So this is what I think of with worst.
Such a good pick. Because I remember when you were watching it around the holiday season this year, and we were talking about it, and I was like, I love Kristen Stewart in that movie, and then you were like, Aubrey Plaza, we just need more of her throughout that whole film.
Yeah.
That's a
they
really,
are just so cute,
and it's an underrated holiday film because it's got Dan Levy in it, right? He's really good in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Victor Garber's in it.
Yeah. Happiest Season, great movie. Yes. Well, so Kristen Stewart was also somebody who came to mind for worst on-screen chemistry, because I think her and Pattinson in the Twilight franchise is pretty terrible. Though I left it off because my wife, for instance, does not find Robert Pattinson to be an attractive man, and so I was like, maybe he's too odd looking to count in like a good looking couple. But I think Pattinson's a pretty handsome looking dude. But I have the right answer for what the worst on screen couple is. It's Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman in the Star Wars prequels. They were certainly not helped by George Lucas being a dreadful writer of dialogue for two people who are trying to fall in love. But you can pick out any scene from any of the two movies that those two characters are in, and God, it is rough. It is brutal. They're both very, very good looking people, and it is just wooden, stiff, dead as a doornail. The meme is so the meme of them in the field is so iconic. But yeah, their relationship is garbage. It is the worst thing I've ever seen in terms of you. I cannot buy that she would fall first off for young Anakin when he's like 8 years old, and then when he
that's also
yes, and then when he becomes Hayden Christensen, I don't buy that relationship at all, and it really ruins the prequels. So that's the worst.
Correct answer.
Yeah. But if you out there are listening, want to give us your favorites or least favorites, please let us know. We would love to get your feedback on that. Something else I'm going to do is I'm going to, once this episode's up, I'm going to throw up each of our lists of our favorites, and I'm going to just let people, just for funsies, vote on which of our on-screen lists was the best of them, and we'll see what people think, just for bragging rights amongst the three of us.
Yeah, I was going to say, I did not prep a list preparing to win.
No.
Well, exactly.
No. This was
you threw. Yes, come on. You threw on Leo and Kate. You went low. That was a low blow.
No,
you secretly knew, and you're like, I'm just in case Andrew does this, I'm gonna put in Leo and Kate.
I would not dare do this with any sort of competitiveness because Heather has already kicked my butt in one draft.
Just I'm 2 for 2, like whatever.
Amanda, we have our own competitiveness coming up shortly when we do another draft for the 2010s here in a few months.
Yes.
So, all right. So there's our lists.
Sorry. Yeah. What final thing? Sorry, just because it's now this ongoing thing that I feel need to say that I asked the general public, and the general public is my husband. His answer was Julia Roberts and. Well,
yes.
He originally said Pierce Brosnan, but he meant Richard Gere in Pretty Woman. So there we go.
And that's
a great. Not mentioned them.
That's a great pick.
I know it's fine. Yes. So
they're two very attractive.
I should have put them in.
All right. Well, what's on the way next? We'll really quickly just kind of let you know. Amongst the three of us, we will be back again in March, and we're going to get together for 2 different Mount Rushmore special episodes. So we'll be talking Christian Bale, which I know Heather is incredibly excited about for Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride. We'll be talking about Ryan Gosling, which of course I am incredibly eager to have that conversation about Project Hail Mary. And then the three of us are going to get together again in April, and we will be doing something a little more competitive, and that will be a worst music biopics draft around the Michael Jackson biopic that comes out. So the three of us are going to draft 5 separate categories amongst the three of us with no movie repeats. We're going to be talking worst movie performance, male or female, factors including resemblance and acting. We'll be doing worst singing performance, male or female, can be either lip-synced or actual singing, worst hair and makeup, worst script, including cringeworthy, cliched dialogue and creative license taken, and then most overrated, which will be movies that got critical or commercial acclaim but did not live up to the hype. So if you want to reach out to any of us and give us any of your feedback on music biopics that you think we should be drafting, I know Amanda's probably going to be doing some prep over the next couple of months. I'm just going to be figuring out where I can put Bohemian Rhapsody and how quickly I can take that movie off the board because
you could put it everywhere.
You if really that's not taken first, then we've done failed. A wrong
What are we
draft.
doing? What are we doing? Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for being here. I'm Andrew. These are my 2 favorite people to talk movies with, Amanda and Heather. And the three of us will see you next time.